What's up, guys? Welcome to Dynasty Drip. Today, we have a special episode, a new thing I wanted to try. So I'm going to explain this to Andy too, because I kind of walked him through it a bit. But in general, I have Andy on here, who you guys know and love, because I want to get his reactions, his opinions on these matters. So Andy, what I did is I posted on the Fantasy Football Reddit page asking for Am I the Asshole stories, which for anyone who doesn't go on Reddit a lot, it's a super, super popular Reddit thread, channel, page, whatever you want to call it, where basically people explain a story and then they ask, am I the asshole? I asked for fantasy specific, am I the asshole videos. So Andy, nice to see you. And what do you think we're going to be getting into today?
Dude, I know some people, they take their leagues very, very seriously, and they can get up to some shenanigans. And it'll be interesting to see, because I think you and I have about the similar level of like where the competitiveness crosses a line. And, I'm looking forward to making some rulings, being a little fantasy judge here. Need to get a gavel.
Oh, yeah. So I really pulled probably like 7 to 10, give or take. Honestly, if anyone even saw the post on Reddit, dude, it had like 250K views, like 300 comments. So I may make another post, do another video like this. So if anyone's watching this and is like having a blast, I had a great time reading a bunch of these. Honestly, I probably didn't even read every comment. They were like 250. I could not keep up. But without further ado, man, we're going to get into this. So I'm going to be reading the stories off to you guys, the audience, to Andy as well. Then we're going to talk about it. So if you guys miss anything, we may go over it, but also feel free to just rewind a little bit and listen to my voice. Just soothe you as I read this. But we're going to start out with one of them. This was probably one of my favorite ones. Absolutely outrageous. And here we go. So here we go, Andy. It was after the trade deadline during Josh Jacobs' rookie season. Josh seemed like an emerging star, and it was a keeper league. Team A dropped Jacobs late in the night before waivers process. And Team B, who was desperate for an RB2, put in a claim, and the claim processed next AM. So I'm imagining 2 a.m., no one's awake.
Yeah.
Now, here is my favorite part. Now, the owners of Team A and B were very good friends and have been part of an act that some might know as an Eiffel Tower several times. The collusion seemed obvious. The Team B argued that everyone had the same opportunity to claim Jacobs. The conclusion was Team A was kicked from the league that season, and Jacobs was removed from Team B. The next season, Team B, in protest of what he said was unfair treatment, would update his team name to reference an embarrassing nickname or childhood memory of the team he would face each week. That was Team B's last season in the league. These are the highs and lows of playing fantasy football with high school friends.
That is amazing.
Andy, first reaction here. Walk us through.
Well, dude, those bros are tight, dude. Those bros are tight. So, I mean, that is for sure collusion. I mean, if you're dropping somebody that late and then you try and argue that everybody has the same chance, it's like, no, not really. Because if you told one person, hey, I'm going to drop this guy, it's in the middle of the night when no one's awake. Everybody didn't have the same chance. Yeah. So I'm fine with kicking him. I think it's hilarious that he was changing his team name to inside jokes. That is funny. But at the same time, I don't think you're the asshole for kicking him out, because if it's annoying everybody in the league, then you don't have to play in leagues where you don't enjoy somebody or you don't want somebody to be a part of it. So I think it's okay to kick somebody out if they're annoying every single person in the league. But
yeah, and the way this is phrased, I took it like you did, where like in my mind, this is one of those ones where waivers process at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And this dude is dropping him at 1:59 and the guy is adding him at 2:01.
Yeah.
Or something. Where it's like, and he said, hey man, if you hop on right now, you can have Josh Jacobs. Also, why would you drop Josh Jacobs when he was emerging as a star?
There is no reason besides collusion that there's like, you can't make an argument like, oh, I didn't want him on my team. Like there's no argument to be made. So for sure collusion. I don't think the poster is the guy who ran the league or was just in the league. So, sir, I do not think you were the asshole in this situation.
Yeah, I think he's just in the league because it doesn't sound like he was Team A or Team B. Although it does sound like he thought Team B doing embarrassing things was really funny, which I thought was really funny.
That is hilarious.
I enjoy the pettiness of that.
Yes.
So I do think that's funny. And dude, I couldn't just help when I started reading this. The Eiffel Tower thing just cracked me up. It's like they're good friends. They have done an Eiffel Tower multiple times.
That's a level of friendship that I don't have with anyone, and I don't think I ever will. But kudos to them.
Thank you so much for whoever posted that on the Reddit one. That one gave me an absolute kick, dude. And Andy and I are in agreement. I think those are fair. And I like, too, that they even only kicked out one of them. They gave the second dude a chance, and then he was just petty as fuck for a whole year. And they're like, no, dude, you're gone, too. Like, just stop it. Yeah. But, okay, moving into number 2. And I'm going to shout out this one. I'm not going to say usernames just in case these people wanted to stay private. Now, if you want to go on Reddit, find this post, you are free to go through and read even more of those, but I don't want to put them on here. This one had the most upvotes, though, out of anyone. So I definitely made sure I had to include this one. So, championship game. I have Peyton Manning. Opponent has his RB. Can't remember the name, but it was Peyton's first year with the Broncos. I have a big lead, but Peyton spends the entire game dumping it down to the RB. I end up losing by 0.3 points. Then stat corrections come out Tuesday, and Peyton is given a half point. Now I'm the winner. Guy throws a fit. Him and I are both mods. I'm assuming he means like commissioners of the league. He goes in and changes the score correction and says, that's not a fair way to lose a championship. I changed it back, removed him as a mod, and we haven't spoken since. It's been like 10 years.
Damn. That's brutal on both fronts right there. But I mean, stat corrections, that's part of the game. That happens. Sometimes they get it wrong in the moment. I know years and years ago, I tied with somebody due to a stat correction, and you're in that league, so I'm sure you remember. I posted a whole tirade about how we got to figure out how to break this tie. This is un-American. We're playing fantasy football. Stat correction, I lose. And it was just a hilarious piece of karmic justice. So
I directly responded to this guy's story with that exact story. That was the second most upvoted comment on the whole thing.
Let's go.
I told that exact story. I was like, my friend said it was un-American. Ties are not American. Wakes up the next day, he loses. And we're like, well, there you go. Like, you got what you want.
I got not what I wanted, but I got what I deserved, I think.
This one I don't really see two sides of. It's like, dude, you lost. You can't change the rules, so you won. I'm in full favor changing it back. He lost. Like, that's
yeah,
it's not his fault he's being salty and hasn't talked to you. Like, you can't. That to me is like, that's almost not even like, am I the asshole? That's like cheating. That's just like straight up manipulation.
You literally went in and changed the score of a game so that you win. The championship game so that you win.
Stat corrections. Yeah, we have a bylaw, no stat corrections.
No.
But I had to shout that one out. I thought it was a great one too. And shout out probably like the other 50 ones. I heard a lot of people say stat correction ones, which makes sense. I think those stat corrections are a common thing that happens. So,
and it sucks to lose via a stat correction. I think there's almost nothing worse than feeling that joy of like a victory by the slightest of margins, going to bed happy, and then waking up the next day and realizing you lost, but you can't change it. That's part of the game. And on the other side, when it happens to you, then all of a sudden your whole day turns around, your whole week turns around.
It does. Yeah, it does stink. But I think the thing to me is like, technically the stat correction is getting it right.
Yes.
Like it's getting the information that actually happened correct. So I think you got to hang your hat on that one. But we're going to move into the third one. Now, there were a lot of ones regarding this. I felt I had to include one of them, Hamlin game. So I picked one that had to do with it just because it is. Like, it created a weird situation in fantasy football. So I'm going to read this one. January 23rd, 2023. Bills v. Bengals on Monday Night Football. I didn't double check the date. If that's correct, that's correct. It could have been December 23rd. January 23rd seems late, but maybe it was.
It was because it was the championship, so it had to have been December 23rd because that was
like this is January, but the Super Bowl's early February, so those dates line up. But
yeah,
Bills v. Bengals on Monday Night Football in the last game of the week in the fantasy championship, up 106-93, and opponent had Burrows and Mixon. Not gonna lie, I prayed for a miracle. It's 106-98 when all of a sudden Hamlin goes down and the game is called off. Points from that game are voided. Controversy erupts. I am the commish of this league and won the championship in 19 and 20. So I was going for a championship in 4 years, a third title in 4 years. The other GM won in 14 and 15, so he was also vying for a third league championship. Debated for a few days with GMs and did a league vote to decide who should be champion. I won 6-4 and was crowned champ. Before I did the league vote, I was in contact with the other GM who I played in the finals. His solution was co-champs, which I think is lame and there should only be one champ. But saying all of that, if I was the other GM and that happened, I'd feel like I was robbed of a championship knowing Burrows and Mixon playing would have no doubt scored enough points to win. Am I the asshole? So keep in mind, he's the commissioner. I think that's the one detail to keep in mind here. So what do you think?
And that is so tough. That's like the worst spot to be in as a commissioner when you have to make a ruling involving yourself, because no matter what, it's either like you give up and give the other person what they want, but then if you rule to what you think is fair, everybody can always say, oh, you're doing that just because you are in that position of power. But man, that game was, it's so unprecedented. I mean, personally, I feel like, after I'd ranted about tying earlier, this might be the one situation where you could go into a tie. Having the league vote is interesting, but at that point, it could also just be, some sort of popularity contest where, maybe this is a manager who got second, who keeps sending terrible trade offers and people are like, dude, I don't want him to win. And so then they vote for the other guy. So that's not necessarily a fair way to do it either. So I'm going to say like slightly the asshole, but that's such a tough situation.
Yeah. I mean, you commish 2 or 3 leagues. I commish 2 or 3 leagues. Like, I was in this situation in multiple leagues.
Yeah.
Luckily, we didn't have any controversy in the ones that I was involved in. Luckily, 2 of ours, we did end up splitting because I think it was so close. And in that situation, we were lucky because both owners in the finals agreed on it. So if you can get both of the owners that are in the final to say, hey, dude, I'm cool tying, or are you cool tying, then that's fine. Where you get tough is if one of you doesn't agree with that. So even though it stinks, a vote is a vote, at least.
Yeah.
And at least in this instance, what I think is lucky it happened this way is that even if you were to, my guess is if it was 6-4 as a 10-team league, and even if you took the commission's vote off, he still wins the vote technically. So, I mean, it's close though. I think that vote probably was going to be 6-4 anyway. That's tough though. I think, because the 3 I was in is I co-champed 2, and then one of them, I was like, dude, I'm up like 60 points and you have Gabe Davis. I'm sorry. I'm not co-champ in this. He has never scored 60 points. Like, it's just, and I even had like Diggs too or something. And it was like, but anything that was within a margin of like either player could have won.
Then I think
I don't think you're the asshole. I think it's just a shitty situation.
It's a shitty situation. Not full asshole, but like there's a little cheek exposed maybe. You're exposing a little cheek, I think, but not.
I think, the only way to take off probably, this isn't commissioner advice podcast, but if you want the commissioner advice, like that's kind of what this dude's asking for, is I try never to vote as commissioner unless I have to.
Yeah.
So maybe you could have just left the vote 5-4, not vote, and be like, okay, well, I don't vote, and one of the side wins. But because I just try to not show my hand as commish, but
in that situation, it's like they obviously know, I feel like, what the commish would have been.
They want to win. They obviously want to win. They obviously knew they were going to lose. That's the kicker to this one is like, dude, up 13 with Burrow and Mixon, you're losing. You're losing for
You're
sure.
losing unless, something like this or
unless he gets hurt. Unless someone gets hurt, you're losing.
But still, and
yeah.
the note
I thought that was a good one though.
And a note for commissioners, like make some bylaws before the league starts. And in one of the dynasty leagues that I commish, we have a canceled games parentheses DeMar Hamlin situation clause to where if this happens, this is what we're going to do. And so then that way if it happens in the future, which obviously you can't go back.
Although it never happened. Like that's the thing is like, can't remember a situation like that.
No.
Never until now. Now maybe, but you live and you learn, man.
Yeah.
You live and you learn. But let's move on to the next one. This one's great too, man. This one was cracking me up. Was in a $250 per person 12-team league at work.
Okay.
One guy organized it every year.
Yep.
League runs smoothly until the last regular season game. Suddenly, the 4-team playoff format was changed to a 6-team playoff format. And guess whose team was in the 6th spot, 2 games back from 4? Yep. We all protested. He said it was always meant to be 6 and had just now noticed he set it up wrong. He ended up winning the league and he pocketed the money. And I found a reason to fire him a month later.
Dang, that is intense. I guess my first question would be, since this league had been running multiple years, was there a precedent of 6-team playoffs? But also by the
I don't know. Yeah.
And that changes it a little bit, but at the same time, if you go all the way to week 14, that's too late. If you realize this week 4 and you go, oh, guys, I forgot it's supposed to be 16 playoffs, 100% fine. But if you do it the week before the playoffs, and that's some shenanigans. Because weeks in advance, you're checking to see where you are in the standings, who needs to lose, who needs to win. So this feels a little shady.
It does. It also, like, dude, I don't want to make it about money, but $250 league, this ain't no like $10, $15.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's $2K. It's like almost $2,000.
That's a nice winnings for that guy who, hopefully, helped him.
I mean, he needed it. Dude. He needed it. He got fired. He needed it. I honestly don't think you're the asshole for firing that dude, man. That is team morale. It's not good for team morale.
It's not good for team morale. And if they're doing that kind of stuff for fantasy football, then it's, you get a glimpse into who people are sometimes through fantasy football. If they're taking advantage of people who, maybe, if there's somebody new in the league and they're just hammering them with these terrible trades, it's like, dude, just you take the little easy.
It's also just, dude, like, it's so obvious, man. Like, you weren't making the playoffs. You change the rules. You make the playoffs. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just, it's not a thing.
You can't do that.
It's not a thing. Okay, so this one's a little more simple, but I do think this one brings up just an interesting premise for you, Andy. So I have a dynasty trade offer for Chris Olave for his Trevor Lawrence. I tell him I'm down, but would like a pick thrown in. He says no, but lets the trade sit going into the games. Okay, so trade offer sent. It's just sitting there. Game start. Chris Olave goes over the middle, is hit and carted off. I accept the trade while he's on the cart going off the field.
I feel like you're kind of the asshole for that one, man. I feel like you're kind of the asshole for that one. Like, because the whole circumstances of when you guys were negotiating the trade have totally changed. This is not a good faith. We agreed upon this thing. This is brand new information. So
this one was tough. It's like, as commish, I don't know if I would overturn it, but I think in the long run, this probably burns you more than the slight win of this trade.
Yeah.
Maybe you do slightly win this trade in the long run. You get Lawrence and Olave went down, but Olave's back. He's playing. So, but now it's like, you're that guy. you're that guy though. And I think you got to be careful of that in a dynasty league. But I don't know. I think because it's dynasty and not redraft, it makes it worse.
Yes,
for
because
me.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like just because trading's more important. So
yeah. I think if something like that happens, you have to understand that the trade is not the same, even if it's still sitting in your inbox, because at that point, some people have to work on Sundays. Maybe he was watching a different game. Maybe he was out with his family. Like, who knows? But the point is, you got to give him time to react to the information, which is why we don't have waivers that go all the time. We have waivers that run once per day in leagues, because at that point, then it's just whoever gets the information the fastest can have a super team. So
yeah,
I think this was kind of an asshole move to accept it.
Is a good habit though for everyone. This is something I try to do Sunday morning is I go delete every single trade I have sent.
Yeah.
It's hard and it sucks and I'm not perfect. I forget some, but I try my best to not leave hanging trades. Keep that in mind. There also are trades in Sleeper. That's a new feature that are like self-destructing trades. If you haven't seen that, where like you can send a trade like for a day and then it goes away.
Oh yeah.
But it sucks. Like I don't think as a commish I would overturn it, but I would be very hesitant to, because I don't think it's like, well, I would overturn it if they both wanted to overturn it, but I don't think you could overturn it just based on a guy being angry, because he's not cheating. It's just like scummy. It's just like,
I don't know, but I mean, if you think about it in like an actual trade in sports, like if say they're actually trying to trade on teams, and then all of a sudden
shut it down on the physical.
Exactly. Just shutting it down on the physical. I think as a commissioner, you can shut it down on the physical if this exact thing happens where the trade goes through. Like,
then you're going to get it in the ear though from the other. Like that,
you are.
That's why it sucks to be a commish, dude.
It does.
Being a commish.
No matter what you do, somebody's going to be mad at you. But it's like for the good of the league, the integrity of the league
in the world. Do you know why? Because you make nothing.
Yeah,
you make literally nothing.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Ryan Hover, who tips his commissions every once.
He does.
So,
my man, dude.
You're the man.
Okay, so here's one. I don't believe I'm the asshole. I think the commish was, but I'm interested in this league's takes. Work league, 12 teams with top 4 making playoffs. Top 2 teams get paid out. I got the 1 seed. 3 seed was a guy who got fired and nobody has talked to since and hasn't been setting his lineup since. He did pay though. So 3 seed in the league, but fired, not setting his lineup, but he did pay. I think that's an important thing. He beat the 2 seed in the first round, but the commish, who missed the playoffs, decided to just let the 2 seed move on, because letting the 3 seed move on to play me would give me a free championship, I guess because he's not setting his lineup.
Yeah.
So instead of playing that team, I had to play the 2 seed who got a free pass, and I lost.
Yeah, the commish is the asshole in that scenario. You can't mess.
You can't manipulate it, dude. You can't manipulate. It's the stat correction thing all over again. You cannot manipulate what happened. It's also the number 1 rule.
And your argument is you don't want to give him a free pass for the championship, and yet you gave this other team the free pass to get to the championship.
Yeah, that's worse. So
you're giving a free pass either way. Yeah.
And he paid. To me, it's a key of this whole story.
Oh, yeah.
If he hadn't paid, I could understand being like, dude, we can't let this guy in the title game. He didn't pay. He doesn't even work here. He doesn't respond. So,
but at that point, you got to handle
that strongly. You shouldn't have let him into the playoffs.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. If he hasn't paid and he's not setting his lineup, then put whoever was the 5 seed. Yeah, put them. Whoever highest ranked who paid next, put them in the playoffs. But once the playoffs started,
if he beat this other guy, who's to say he doesn't have a chance to? He obviously beat this other team that then beats the 1 seed, so his team had a chance to win. I don't really get that.
And also, if top 2 get paid, I know he doesn't work there anymore, but he still paid for the league, so he's actually entitled to the second place. Even if he loses,
money
he's entitled to the second place money. So you stole money from that guy.
Yeah. Work in fantasy leagues are a way you form a league based to something, but you don't if you formed a league in high school. there's not a stipulation you have to still be in high school to be in that league.
Yes.
Like you
Yeah.
Things change. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like it's not a big deal. But yeah, I was like, I don't know, man. I just think that's like same
You
thing.
can't be doing that. That's the commission is totally in the wrong there.
Change things. But okay. Next story here. I won my 20-team league last year for the first time since 2009.
Let's go.
In the final, I was facing a team named the Baltimore Ravens. His whole team was literally just Ravens, top to bottom, including Justin Tucker and their defense, except for one flex spot that he would use for random players. He would rotate from the waivers and whatnot. So 20-team league too. I think keep that in mind as we're reading this.
Yeah.
Well, the Ravens game on Christmas Day was about to start, and he had Jalen McMillan in his flex spot and Justice Hill on the bench. In our group chat, I said, hey, man, go for the full glory and put in Hill for the complete Ravens roster. He ended up doing it, and Hill got him like 7 points, which frankly was pretty good for him, I guess, for Hill.
Yeah.
Anyway, I ended up winning by 7 to 8 points, and McMillan dropped 20 plus on his bench. I had half the league telling me I bullied him into changing his lineup and don't deserve to win. Am I the asshole? All I ever did was jokingly say to put him in for the full glory, not thinking he'd actually do it. For reference, the same manager won the year before doing the same thing, but with all of the 49 roster.
0% the asshole. You are allowed to play all the mental games and talk to your opponent about what you think they should or shouldn't do. And especially like that's just a funny joke if he can start all Ravens. So and he was the one who made the decision to switch him out. So that's on him.
Yeah, I mean, dude, yeah, if you're not allowed to like talk shit in the chat or tease or like, dude, like how many times have you seen someone like, you know, I've totally texted people as a joke, be like, dude, better take Saquon out. He pulled his hammy this morning. Like, are you telling me you've never accidentally like tried to mess with someone? It's like, dude, did you see he got pulled over? He's not playing today. Yeah. Or like, come on. Yeah. Like, it's only cheating if you physically change his lineup.
Yeah, that is fair. Like, you can inception somebody to play who you want to play. That's just amazing work as a fantasy football manager. So I think you got this guy with your little joke and be like, hey, man, go for the glory.
There's also an alternative world where Hill drops 20 and McMillan drops 7 and you lose because of it.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like, yeah, it's easy to say that. Like, it's easy for the league mates to say something, but they weren't. I guess we don't have the league chat, but like, were they like, don't do it, man. Don't do it, man. McMillan's going to drop 20. I really doubt that.
Even if they were, it's on the manager whose team it is to decide who he sets in their lineup. So,
and also like, it almost doesn't even sound like the guy who did it was the one complaining. It almost sounds like the rest of the league is who was complaining, and the guy that actually made the change like accepted. It's like,
I goofed. I went for full
person, dude. He fucking couldn't figure it out. But okay. We got 3 more. I think this is about perfect length. Hope you guys, if you are still here 30 minutes into this video, I'm having a blast doing this.
Hilarious.
I would love to hear your comments on any of these situations, what you would do. That would make this even more fun for Andy and I to go back in and see if you guys agree with us, disagree, your favorite one, your favorite part of one of them, anything. But so Homie was sending some imbalanced trade offers to me on a weekly basis. Not terrible, just clearly in his favor. He started talking shit because I didn't counter / didn't want to trade with him. So I eventually aired him out in our league's group chat with a screenshot of the latest offer he'd made to go get outside opinions of his fair offers. He got blasted in the group chat and pissed to the point we didn't talk for months. Am I the asshole?
I don't think so, man. I think if someone's coming in with these offers and then one, you don't have to counter. It's nice to counter, but if sometimes you receive offers that are just so unbalanced, you just hit decline and move on, and that's fine. But then I think the guy took it upon himself when he started complaining to everybody. That's what he said, right? He said he was complaining.
So the other way, the dude was so annoyed that the guy who was getting the terrible offers posted them.
Okay.
To be like, hey man, I'm getting your offers are so bad. I'm going to post it in the group chat and show you how bad they are.
Yeah.
And then the guy that was sending the bad offers got pissed that he posted them.
Yeah.
And they didn't talk for a couple months.
I mean, I feel like that's probably fair. Yeah. Like, I think it's because, of course, like, you know, the first few times you either just ignore it or move on and be like, hey, man, I don't think these are very good. But if it's something where it's so constant and it's like, okay, this needs to change, I think it's okay to put in the group chat and let him be blasted because, you know, maybe he'll grow as a fantasy football player, start sending some better offers.
It says weekly basis too. That's it says on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I think really, I don't think this dude's the asshole at all. The only way you're an asshole is if he sent you like one trade offer one time that was bad, and then you screenshotted that and posted it, and it's like, dude, like I just sent you one offer. Could we like chill out, man?
Yeah.
But that's not this situation. That would be weird to me. Like, but this, it's like, because here's the thing, man. My guess is why he got pissed is everyone probably doubled down on him. He's like, yeah, dude, stop sending me those offers too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want.
If you send him to one, you send him to more than one person.
It's usually like more than. It's not that simple. Usually, like he's doing it to everyone. Like, okay, second to last one. So this one's short. Just thought it was funny. I don't know if it's an I am in the asshole, but I'm in a startup dynasty where one guy traded every single startable player to get 11 2026 firsts. And there is one manager who won't sell him the last first. And they fight about it in the chat. It's pretty entertaining.
Fair play to both guys.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be an asshole. And also, I don't even think the guy posting this, like, I think he's just telling us.
Yeah, which is honestly hilarious.
like I don't, from the way it's written, he's not the guy that still has his first. He's just like, it's funny. They argue every day about it. It's funny.
Which sounds great. And you can't force anybody to trade somebody they don't want to trade. Even if you send them a big old overpay offer, they're still not obligated to accept it.
Some of the comments on this one were cracking me up too. One of them was like, dude, 2026 class is pretty trash. It's not even a good strategy. Like, it's just like, we don't know if it's bad or good. I just thought it was so funny to just like shit on this guy. You don't even know him, and you're just like
you should have gone for 2028s, man.
Terrible. Yeah. Okay, last one. I was in a redraft league a few years back, relatively competitive PPR league with a group of friends, but my buddy's cousin joined and wanted Zeke for me really bad. He offered me Julio Jones straight up for Zeke every single week. Well, that was the year Zeke had the pending suspension that kept getting pushed off. Well, it was finally announced that he'd missed some time in the next couple of weeks. The news was in the feed, but I had a feeling he wouldn't check and would just click accept the second he saw me send it to him. Well, that's exactly what happened, and I've never seen someone so angry about a trade in my life. I went on to win the league that year, and he's been my good buddy ever since. Asshole
That's good.
move.
See, this one I think differs from the next one because the guy accepted the trade and got screwed by it. He didn't do his due diligence. The other guy had no opportunity to do any due diligence. Mm-hmm. This guy had the opportunity to go, let me just double check, make sure Zeke's okay. Oh, he's not. Mm-hmm. Can hit the line. Kudos on them for still being friends, but
I think really the kicker is you're still friends. You couldn't have been that much of an asshole.
Yeah.
Like if he's still friendly with you, like, you know, and this really is, this is the opposite situation of the Olave trade we talked about, where in that Olave situation, yes, it would be a little scummy, but after Olave gets hurt, it's not like it's unfair to try and trade him away. I mean, like maybe it's a little like, I don't know, maybe it's a little on the line, but it's like, if you're trading for a player, you should do some research. And I think that's a fair, I don't think anyone would say that's unfair.
No, he had the opportunity that the other guy didn't have. Like, he could have gone in and saw that Zeke was going to miss some time, and he just didn't do it. And then was mad because he didn't do it and realized he made a mistake, which we've all made.
It was sitting there. If it was the Olave situation, it's sitting there, and you see the news and you just hit yes. That's kind of where, like, okay. Like,
that's would be the same move as the other guy.
Yeah,
then.
it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I guess you know what you're doing, though. It's like, maybe we're not going to overturn it, but, like, we know now. Like, that's a weird.
Yeah, I think when information like that changes, it's like you got to decline, and then if you still want to do it, you can send a new trade, which kind of like what this guy did. He went over, he sent a new trade, so it was on the other guy to accept it. He did. So yeah, I don't think you're the asshole for that.
Also, just like, check the news. Like, check. I'm sure it was on the app. If you're watching the game, if you're watching ESPN,
oh yeah,
on Twitter, if you're on
Ezekiel Elliott Twitter.
Like he said, it was in the feed. I don't think it's the craziest idea.
Oh no, it's so easy to find. You're playing it on your phone. You just swipe up on the app and Google that player's name and news, or do it through the app. It's the easiest thing ever. So yeah.
Part of me wants to reach back out to the dude from the Eiffel Tower story and see what some of the team names were. Like, what were some of the team names shading people for their stupid childhood memories and embarrassing moments? Like playing the pee pants. This like I'm just picturing like the dumbest things ever.
Yeah.
Like,
peed your pants and choir in 3rd grade.
Or like, how mean was this guy getting? Like, was he playing like Drew's DUIs this year? Like, how mean is this guy to his friend? You're like, dude, I told you that in confidence. No one knew that.
Yeah, that's true. Is it like, funny stuff, or is it like, dude, he's really.
Now I just have all these like team names, like the One Pump Job, just like stuff like that. The 30-year-old virgins, just stuff like that. Where you're like, dude, really?
Yeah, come on,
really, man. Like,
do that in confidence.
But dude, yeah, I mean, Andy, thank you for coming on for that, dude. I had a blast.
Awesome.
I hope you guys watching had fun. I'm gonna keep trying to do this like once a month. I just had so much fun reading the comments. I was trying to switch it up. So if you guys enjoyed this, you want to see more, like, subscribe, share this with your friends. I'd love for this video to get some views because I just think these stories are funny, and I think everyone can relate to them. If you've been playing fantasy football, it's like, I only pulled like 10 or so of them, but there were so many. And dude, there were so many stat correction ones, trade ones, bad trade ones. That was a very, very common theme. So be nice to your league mates.
Yeah.
Be nice.
And be nice to your commissioner too. Your commissioner has a very tough job.
They really do. But thank you guys for coming to the channel. We will see you soon.